Now, our top story of the hour comes from the United States, and President Donald Trump says he has signed a bill requiring his administration to release government-held documents related to the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Trump, who had initially opposed the measure, reversed course as the legislation gained momentum in Congress. He announced the signing on his Truth Social platform, declaring he had just signed the bill to release the Epstein files. The move follows comments from U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi, who vowed maximum transparency after both chambers of Congress, now under Republican control, voted to mandate the release. Bondi confirmed the Justice Department will publish its Epstein-related materials within 30 days, as the law requires. The release is expected to shed new light on Epstein's activities before and after his 2008 conviction. The case has lingered over Trump politically, fueled in part by conspiracy theories he has echoed to supporters and by lingering public skepticism surrounding Epstein's 2019 jailhouse death, officially ruled a suicide. Let's listen in to U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi.
What are you doing here over the next 30 days as we understand it?
We will continue to follow the law with maximum transparency while protecting victims.
When you say follow the law, Madam Attorney General, do you mean that you will provide all the files by 30 days?
We will follow the law. The law passed both chambers last evening. It has not yet been signed, but we will continue to follow the law, again, while protecting victims, but also providing maximum transparency.
We're now joined by Matthew Verdum. He's an American journalist, and he joins us live from Washington, D.C. Matthew, thank you very much for joining us here on the program. Of course, a significant moment in Donald Trump's second administration. This case has lingered over him for months now. Attorney General Pam Bondi has vowed full transparency when it comes to the release of these files. Do you think that we'll get that?
I think so, except that the law that was passed and that President Trump apparently just signed into law a few hours ago allows exceptions, allows for certain information to be redacted or blacked out, left out of the record. Stuff regarding that would jeopardize current government operations, like in the intelligence community, or that would have an impact on open investigations. And that may include some of the people who are actually mentioned in the Epstein files. And, we're still not really sure what is in those files, but I guess we're going to find out in the next 30 days. But the President Trump had initially opposed the bill to require the disclosure of the Epstein files, but then he saw which way the wind was blowing, and he got behind it, and it passed Congress almost unanimously, and now he signed it into law.
Yes, and Matthew, of course, Donald Trump's bill signing ceremonies usually filled with pomp. This, however, not so much. Truth Social was released. What do you make of that? Matthew,
it's probably a strategic reason that he had that he signed the document behind doors without conducting an elaborate televised live signing ceremony. Perhaps because he's embarrassed that he opposed the legislation for so long, and then was forced politically to do an about face and endorse it. So I suspect he doesn't want to make a big deal out of it. Maybe he is expecting that his Attorney General, Pam Bondi, is going to be quite aggressive in redacting information and not releasing it to the public. So he doesn't want to build up, I'm just guessing, doesn't want to build up expectations among the public about what they're going to find out. So, there's all sorts of reasons why he wouldn't have a signing ceremony. If he wanted to, there's no reason why he had to sign the law, within hours of its final approval. He could have held it off for a day or two and had a big signing ceremony with, TV cameras and everything in the Oval Office, but he chose not to do that. And my guess is that he's kind of embarrassed by the whole thing and just wishes it would go away. And so he didn't want to do a victory lap and celebrate the signing of the legislation.
Of course.
If that makes any sense.
Yes. And of course, Matthew, this has been a bipartisan issue. Americans from both the left and the right have wanted the release of these files. Some strong opposition from Donald Trump's MAGA base in regards to this, some of which have said that they've lost trust in the Trump administration for not releasing these files earlier. Do you think that those MAGA supporters are lost for good, or do you think he can regain back that trust in his core supporters?
I think that some of them are lost for good. I think that most of them are probably not lost for good. And that as long as there is a steady stream of information from these so-called Epstein files, most people will, except for the most aggressive conspiracy theorists, they're probably going to be satisfied. But there's a segment, and I don't know what percentage of those people are not going to be satisfied by this. They feel betrayed because he campaigned on greater government transparency, on releasing these Epstein files, and then he turned his back for a long time on that campaign promise, and only, in recent days came to support the legislation mandating the release of the files. So with some people, that trust is going to be lost forever, but I suspect that that's going to be a minority of his so-called mega supporters.
Yeah, and Matthew, some skeptics of this say that Donald Trump is going to find a way around redacting certain information, whether that be ongoing investigations, other alleyways, etc. Is there a possibility that Donald Trump will use some of these loopholes in order to redact some of this information that are in these files?
I don't think Donald Trump is making the decisions here. It's Pam Bondi, but she is an arm of his administration, if they're, I can't really say. I don't know if she's going to adhere to the spirit of the law and release almost everything quickly, or if she's going to make it, or if she's going to be reluctant to release certain information. She does have some discretion, as I said earlier, in that information that could be potentially harmful to the intelligence community or to open investigations that the FBI or other agencies may be conducting may be withheld. So I'd like to think that she's going to approach this in a straightforward, honest way. I really can't say how she's going to handle it, but I can understand why some people would be suspicious of her and of President Trump at this point.
Yes, Matthew, do stay with us as we have further stories to discuss. But next, we turn to Europe and Ukrainian